Hey everyone, it's Linnea for LDRS Creative, and I have a really quick and easy card to share with you today. This card only took me about 15 minutes, maybe a little less than 15 minutes to make, and I think that once you see this design, this is a design that you can easily replicate even faster than that, so it's a really great design if you need a card quickly. I'm going to be using the Sunshiny Day Stamp Set. I love sunflowers. They are my absolute favorite flower, and this one is gorgeous. It's a large image. It almost takes up a full card panel, so if you need a statement piece, this is definitely the stamp set for you. I wanted to kind of create more of an abstract, messy, ink blended looking card. Something that just screamed artsy. So I have a piece of Nina white cardstock, and I am adding some anti-static powder onto this because I'm going to be stamping and doing some heat embossing. So I lined up that Sunshiny Day sunflower cluster off onto the top right hand corner, stamped that with Raven Hybrid ink, and then I cleaned my stamp with my Extreme Clean cleaner, and I repositioned it, flipped my cardstock, repositioned that, and stamped it again. You could just flip your cardstock and stamp the image again without repositioning the stamp, but I thought that that would give me a look that was a little bit too symmetrical, and I wanted this to be a little bit more offset. So I repositioned that stamp so that there would be a larger grouping on the top and smaller on the bottom. When you're working with hybrid inks, if you work quickly, you can add some embossing powder over the top. So I used my LDRS Creative Clear Embossing Powder, and I'm just going to heat set these images. You don't have to do this, but I wanted to do some ink blending, and I'm going to be using the LDRS Creative Hybrid inks for my ink blending. Since I stamped with the LDRS Hybrid ink, and then I'm going to use that same formulation of ink for blending, I wanted to make sure that I heat set this image so that the ink didn't smudge. These inks blend so smoothly, as you're going to see as I'm blending here. They blend smoothly, they react well with each other, which is 99% of the time the best quality about these inks. I just love the way they blend and the way that they stamp. But they will blend, like I said. So if you're blending yellow over top of the flowers, as I'm doing here with the Dandelion Hybrid ink, you run the risk of picking up some of that black Raven Hybrid ink and kind of smudging that ink. So that's why I chose to heat set that. You could skip that step, but it only took a couple seconds, and I really like the way it looks because that ink will stay crisp and black, and it gives some extra shine. I'm going in here with 4-leaf for the green, and I'm using the LDRS Creative blender brushes, and you can see that I'm keeping the ink for the most part inside of the lines, but if some goes outside of the lines, that's totally okay. I'm going to be coming in now here with some Marina Madness ink and creating a faux blue sky look. So I'm starting lightly and then building up that color, and I'm making sure to go over the edges where I got that 4-leaf ink, that green ink, outside of the lines, and just kind of blend that back a little bit and dull those harsh lines where I might have gotten a little bit heavy-handed with my ink blending. And don't worry if it still looks a bit messy. I'm going to show you another trick to kind of pull this all together in just a moment. So now my ink blending is all completed. I'm going to take a clean towel and just wipe away any ink that might be sitting on top of that embossing powder. And check that out. I love how this is looking. So here is one of my biggest tips for covering up mistakes in your background. If you wanted this to look absolutely perfect and you got a little bit of ink outside of where you wanted it to be, add some ink spatters. If you're like me and you kind of got ink outside of the lines because you're going for a messy look, ink spatters just pull all of that together. So when in doubt, add some ink spatters. Usually my go-to color is black, but for this one I went with some shimmer gold watercolor spatters in the background. All I want to do to finish off this card is to add a sentiment. The Everyday Sayings stamps and dies are one of my go-to stamp sets lately. I love these big bold sentiments, and I love that the Everyday Sayings also have coordinating toner sentiments that you can foil. I didn't have my foiling machine out on my desk today, but you can just use the Everyday Sayings coordinating dies, cut one of these sentiments because they're printed in black ink, and it's a crisp, saturated black ink, and just use this as a sentiment. So that's what I did. I cut that out with the die, and then I also used that second die to cut the background, the shadow. Added that with foam tape. Both layers are popped up on foam. And now I'm just going to add some shiny gold baubles to my background, and I'm using my LDRS Creative little glue tube there. And this card is complete. Loving how shiny this card is, and it was really quite easy to make. Thank you guys so much for watching. I have listed and linked all of the products that I used in this card in the video description below. I hope you have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye.